A very good evening to you and welcome to Idea TV News at 9. I am Cynthia Bassi. We begin with the headlines. Sierra Leone launches Africa's first SIM-based child online protection service. TECHPOINT Africa joins Tech Revolution Africa 2.0 as media partner. Nigerian words go global with Oxford Dictionary update. ZIMSAT-3 to bridge digital divide and power Zimbabwe's digital economy. And away from Africa, Venezuela frees political prisoners in drum-backed move. And in health, KANO builds 324 PHCS, 16 hospitals in 2 years. In business, Ghana launches first domestic infrastructure bond. And in sports, QUADRI ARUNA suffers early exit at WTT champions DOHA. And now the news in full. Sierra Leone has launched KidZonet, Africa's first SIM-based child online protection service aimed at helping parents control children's access to online content. The service was unveiled in Freetown by the Ministry of Communication, Technology and Innovation in partnership with AfriCell Sierra Leone. KidZonet allows parents and guardians to filter and block inappropriate online content directly from a child's SIM card by dialing *4*499# without the need for apps or extra devices. While internet content is restricted, essential services such as voice calls and SMS remain fully functional. The service, which works only on AfriCell SIM cards and not over Wi-Fi, costs 9 new leones and is valid for 30 days. Authorities say the initiative strengthens child online safety and positions Sierra Leone as a digital policy leader in Africa. Now moving on, TECHPOINT Africa has been named an official media partner for the Tech Revolution Africa 2.0 conference set to hold January 30th to 31st this year in Lagos. Organizers say the partnership aims to amplify Africa's tech innovations and strengthen cross-border collaboration. The two-day summit themed The Big Bold Step is expected to attract over 5,000 participants from more than 10 countries, including founders, investors, policymakers, and tech talent. Key discussions will focus on artificial intelligence, digital infrastructure, payments, data, startups, and the growing talent economy. As media partner, TECHPOINT Africa will provide live coverage and post-event insights, extending the conference reach. Organizers say the collaboration reflects a shared commitment to telling Africa's technology story with global relevance. And now the Oxford English Dictionary has added several Nigerian words reflecting the country's growing cultural influence worldwide. The December 2025 update includes terms such as amala, moi moi, mami market, abeg, biko, nyash, and Ghana must go, alongside Afrobeats recognizing both cuisine, expressions, and music from Nigeria. Editors say the additions highlight the impact of West Africa English as local words increasingly enter global usage. This follows previous updates that included Nigerian terms like japa, eba, and suya, reinforcing the country's footprint in language and culture. Moving ahead, Zimbabwe is moving ahead with plans to launch ZIMSAT-3, a new satellite project aimed at expanding digital access and strengthening the country's digital economy. The initiative aligns with the National Development Strategy 2 running from 2026 to 2030 and is positioned as a key pillar of Zimbabwe's technology and innovation drive. The satellite is expected to help bridge the digital divide by expanding or extending high-speed internet to rural and underserved areas where traditional infrastructure is limited. Authorities say improved satellite connectivity will support critical sectors including agriculture, mining, health, and education while strengthening data collection, environmental monitoring, and evidence-based policy making. ZIMSAT-3 also supports the Education 5.0 framework and the expansion of e-government services, with officials noting it will boost research, innovation, youth entrepreneurship, and digital sovereignty. The project is seen as a long-term investment to position Zimbabwe as a competitive, technology-driven economy within the SADC region and beyond. And now we go on a quick break. The news continues when we return.
"5G technology. 5G technology promises to be a game changer by delivering ultra-fast internet speeds, low latency, and the ability to connect millions of devices seamlessly. It's going to fuel the future of smart cities, autonomous vehicles, and IoT devices, allowing them to communicate in real time. However, 5G rollout isn't without hurdles. High costs of infrastructure and regulatory issues in some regions have slowed down implementation. By 2026, the 5G market is expected to be valued at $667.90 billion, with the US, China, and South Korea leading the change. The challenge? Cybersecurity risks and data privacy will remain top concerns as more devices become connected.
Good to have you back, and if you're just joining, this is Idea TV News at 9. Now the rest of the news. Away from Africa, Venezuela has released a large number of high-profile political prisoners, including opposition figures and foreign nationals, in a move the White House says was approved by United States President Donald Trump. Among those freed is former opposition presidential candidate Enrique Marquez, detained after the disputed 2024 election. The releases come days after U.S. forces seized President Nicolas Maduro in a special operation and installed his former deputy Delcy Rodriguez as interim leader. Caracas says more than 800 political detainees remain in custody, though officials have not disclosed how many were released or from which prisons. The White House credited President Trump with securing the releases, calling it an example of maximum leverage as Washington pushes for political concessions and access to Venezuela's oil resources amid heightened tensions between both countries. And in health news, the KANO state government says it has constructed 324 functional primary healthcare centers in the past 2 years as part of efforts to strengthen healthcare delivery across all 44 local government areas. State Health Commissioner Dr. Abubakar Labaran also confirmed that 16 hospitals, including Nasarawa Specialist and Hasiya Bayero Pediatric Hospital, have been rehabilitated while the state's drugs revolving scheme has been fully revived. Looking ahead, the 2026 budget proposes 40 billion naira for the health sector, with over 2,600 new health workers set to be recruited and further facility renovations planned to improve medical services and emergency response. In business news, Ghana plans to raise 10 billion cedis or $935 million through its first domestic infrastructure bond to finance roads and interchanges across the country. The bond will be issued in 2 tranches of 5 billion cedis each, scheduled for the first and second halves of 2026. The government says the projects will be largely self-financed through electronic road tolls to avoid increasing the national debt. President John Mahama's Big Push initiative aims to mobilize funding for major infrastructure projects supported by 30 billion cedis allocated in the 2026 budget. Economic indicators show progress after past debt challenges. Inflation fell to a 23-year low of 5.4% in December 2025, and they say they appreciated 41% against the dollar last year. The International Monetary Fund has welcomed Ghana's effort to develop domestic capital markets while advising careful alignment with debt sustainability. In health news, Kaduna State authorities today shut down 20 unlicensed health colleges and private hospitals in a statewide enforcement operation aimed at protecting public health and curbing illegal medical training. The State Commissioner for Health, Umar Kautom Ahmed, said the facilities were operating without accreditation and posed risks to patients and students by producing unqualified health workers. The affected institutions were located in Chikun, Igabi, Kaduna North and Kaduna South local government areas. Officials say the action aligns with ongoing health sector reforms under Governor Obasani as the government steps up inspections to enforce standards, improve healthcare delivery and ensure only accredited institutions operate across the state. Now finally, in sports news, Nigeria's table tennis star QUADRI ARUNA has crashed out early of the men's singles event at the WTT Champions Doha in Qatar. The African champion was beaten 3-0 by China's 6th seed Liang Jinkong at the Lusail Sports Arena. Despite flashes of his powerful forehand, ARUNA was outclassed in the straight game defeat, ending his campaign in the $500,000 tournament at the first hurdle. Africa also recorded exits elsewhere, with Egypt's Omar Assar and teenage sensation Hannah Goda knocked out in the men's and women's singles respectively. Attention now turns to the WTT Star Contender Doha, scheduled for January 13 to 18. And that's all we have for you on Idea TV News at 9. But before we go, here's a recap of the headlines. We brought you news that Kenya President Ruto holds high-level talks on education reforms. And Sierra Leone launches Africa's first SIM-based child online protection service. TECHPOINT Africa joins Tech Revolution Africa 2.0 as media partner. Nigerian words go global with Oxford Dictionary update. ZIMSAT-3 to bridge digital divide and power Zimbabwe's digital economy. And away from Africa, Venezuela frees political prisoners in Trump-backed move. In health, KANO builds 324 PHCS, 16 hospitals in 2 years. In business, Ghana launches first domestic infrastructure bond. And finally, in sports, QUADRI ARUNA suffers early exit at WTT Champions Doha. And now, do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television. I am Cynthia Bassi. Thank you for your time.